welcome Beyond the Racing Line, the Formula 1 podcast by fans, for fans. This is a mid-between race pod. We're going to call it the Fan Frenzy, but we've got all sorts of goodies coming up. We haven't done a pod like this for a very long time, Tristan. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you? No, we talk about it all the time.
Yes.
And then we
fail to deliver.
Don't do it. But here we are.
Yeah, that's what happens when you bring new people into the pod.
Yeah.
They keep you a bit more accountable.
I know, because, we're not good at keeping each other accountable, are we?
No.
But then it felt like I even knew we had extra people. It's like, I need to bring something to eat.
Yeah, because you get hungrier with more people.
That's correct.
We are joined by Shane Freer. Hello, Shane.
How you going, Roger? How you going, Tristan? Hi, Sam.
Turned into a bit of a regular on the pod of late, which has been very nice to have some extra voices in there. We've also got Sam on board. Sam Purcell.
How's it going?
Pearsall.
Yeah, Pearsall.
I
Exactly.
always do it just to get your look on your face, but you don't give it to me anymore.
Yeah, nah.
The reserve driver himself. He hasn't been on for a little while, but welcome back.
Thank you.
You've come with the goods tonight too.
Oh,
bartender.
Yeah, the one-man brewery coming in.
That's right.
Also, guest of Daniel Ricciardo as well. We're just bringing everything for tonight.
It's all happening, yeah. So with the theme of podcasting throughout the world, drinks around the world, wherever the season goes, we drink. This time we've free reign because we haven't got a race this weekend this week. But so Sam's brought all sorts. Where are we starting, Sam?
I reckon the Danny Rick.
Okay.
Just everyone starts on the same
the
page.
Rosé. Tristan is going to lose
It's not a beer, so it's already a tick.
Okay.
It's not a beer.
Okay. Serve us away, Sam.
Sure.
Yeah, you talk.
Or you in the wrong spot to do that.
You just sort of casual. It's just going to be a casual. This is a real casual vibe tonight, isn't it?
This is going to be a little out there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Maybe we can have the night off and
Well, funny you say that because I have got a pretty decent cold, and so
it's an RDO. We can.
I'm going to try and hand over, and that's right. And
that'd be good.
You come up with the genius idea of setting the task of the boys bringing a segment because we're stale. Is pretty much where I read from that.
I don't know about that.
We're stale. I mean,
I don't know about that.
And they've got, as was pre-mentioned beforehand, we've got probably some of the greatest segments known to man at the moment on our pod.
Oh, thank you.
They've obviously got Fan Frenzy,
F1.5,
F1.5. We've got
the original F1.5.
Start of the day.
We've got our opening question.
Opening question, hero of the hour.
Yep, that's right. So all those, but obviously there is the almighty how are they sleeping?
Yeah.
And so everything is going to be judged against how they're sleeping from here.
Is that a low or a high bar?
That's an incredibly low bar.
Yeah, good.
But surprisingly a popular bar.
I just think it's about sort of pulling your weight, really.
Oh, okay.
Like they're in.
Yeah.
And they're here.
And get creative for us.
You've got to start contributing.
Get creative for us.
Anyone can throw a casual comment here or there.
We're going to do some fan frenzy as well.
Yes.
We're going to do a bit of news.
Yes.
It's all going to be happening, but before we get anywhere, let's do an opening.
Hang on, let's go back to how we're sleeping. Because no one asked me how I slept last week.
How did you sleep last week, Shane?
Not very good.
Oh, why not?
Why?
Because Roger snored.
I don't know if anyone can believe that.
Romantic.
Got evidence.
You better.
Do you really? Do you have evidence?
I do.
You better,
I love a soundbite.
You'd
Play
better
it for
tell
us.
the podcast world why you know that I sleep in my. Otherwise, there's going to be rumours about love on the pod.
I can just feel people flicking off their devices.
We were in school camp, and
we were.
Unfortunately, we had to share a room. Rog made the old man go up to the top bunk, and yes.
Tristan's
I'm
interest in that story did not fade. It was the rosé that did it to him.
I didn't tune out halfway.
The Danny Rick rosé.
I'm contemplating how to go about drinking it because, I just drink cider. Do I just take a big mouthful? Do I sip it?
It's not as bad as I was expecting. Actually,
it's all right.
When did you open it?
I think the glass has thrown me too. It's like an oversized shot glass as well.
Pretty much as soon as Danny Rick released that page, it's like we need to buy this for the Australian Grand Prix.
Well, they had a big stall at the Australian Grand Prix, which we saw there. It's like a whole bar and kit set up. I can imagine it would have been 5 times the price as what it would be when you come home to buy it.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think wine's supposed to be open for that long.
Probably not. No.
Is this off? Is this out of date?
I don't think it's out. I don't think it's off, but I'm not sure it's
Can
at
it
its
go
best.
What is the use by date on that, Sam? You haven't looked, have you?
Generally, no. Well, so generally with a wine, you can get it through a white wine in the fridge. You can generally get through 2 or 3 weeks at max.
Oh.
Most people wouldn't.
It's alcohol to kill
So
off
this
the
has been
same
going.
bacteria.
This has been going since the Australian Grand Prix opened. Which
That's
is
what it sounded
so
like.
It's near on
Yeah,
3
yeah.
months now.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
boy.
So it's probably going as well as doing. Sorry, can I cut
boy.
that?
Oh,
Oh,
Sorry.
jeepers.
But anyway, as Shane
Sorry.
was mentioning, we were on
This is a
school camp.
positive
We were on
episode.
school camp, and he had the honour of sharing a room with me. And yeah, he reckons I snore, but he snores as well. So it's okay. We make a perfect couple in that world. Have you got a soundbite there, Shane?
Oh, somewhere I might.
Take your time. We've got plenty.
Yeah.
I
Plenty
feel
of
like we've got
time.
plenty of time this week.
I'll start with an opening question. I'm not sure we really need an opener. Sometimes it's just to get the conversation flowing. It feels like we're ready to go already. Opening question is, which sport can you not get into? Which one can you just not take to over time? Like, I generally, in the right moment, right circumstance, I reckon I could watch pretty much any sport. I try my hardest not to get into more sports because I just don't have time in my life. Like, I quite like American football through the holidays because I've got a bit of extra time, but I really don't have time to really pay attention to actually what's going on.
Yeah.
NBA, people keep telling me, you got to follow the NBA. It's great. It's fun to watch. College football, you've tried to talk to me into in the past.
Yeah.
But I would love to get into those sports, and I quite like those sports. It's just more of a time thing. Is there a sport, though, that you just can't take to because you don't like the sport? Who wants to start us
I
off?
think probably golf for me. But like I like to play golf
Yeah?
Correct.
every now and then. Like I'm not a religious golfer. I like to go once every 4 months or whatever. But like to watch it, I cannot stand watching it. Like at all whatsoever. It does my head in.
I'd be with you, but a playoff hole is quite exciting.
Nah, I find that.
So
Yeah.
I couldn't sit and watch a day's play, but I
No.
could watch a playoff hole.
I struggle to get through a whole hole. It's just straight in. Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
it frustrates me,
Okay.
irritates me.
All right.
Basketball's kind of the same. Like, I don't know.
You're not an NBA man.
I'm
I
not
thought you were
really.
NBA.
Nah, I'm like you said, more NFL.
Okay.
I can't really go. I fell into the trap one time of talking to someone about basketball just because I saw like a snapshot headline, and now they think I like basketball.
Oh, so you get the
And so
conversation.
yeah, all the time. Hey, what do you think of this on the weekend? I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good, I guess. I have no idea what we're talking about.
Right,
So I just
okay.
humour them. I've been humouring them for 6 months.
Yep. I quite like tuning into some conversations and trying to get an understanding. Shane actually watches a bit, seems to know about a bit about basketball. I don't know how much you watch,
Don't
Shane.
get to watch too much of it, but do watch the playoff scores and things like that.
And I quite get fascinated with sort of the ins and outs of when they're having a conversation about something. I said, hang on, so you're telling me this is what's going on at the moment. So, yeah, I quite get fascinated, but I quite like watching it. Shane, have you got a sport you can't get into?
Synchronised swimming.
Synchronised.
I don't know why.
How frequently can you watch that?
Let's
So you're telling
let's
me-
not get me wrong. They're very when the Olympics come around, you watch all the different sports. You stay up and watch them all. Synchronised swimming, I just don't know how it's still in the Olympics. I mean, they are fantastically
incredible.
fit. Oh, no doubt. Like all those sports in the Olympics, bar say ray gun, are incredibly fit. But it's just don't see the point of it. Anyway,
Okay.
so
I have a select few that I like in the Olympics. I don't like all of them. I like the cycling.
You don't?
No, I've got like a handful that I
yeah.
like. But then there's others I can just give or take. Like I really couldn't care less about.
The marathon's hard to watch.
Yeah, of course.
You can come and go with that one, can't you?
Of course. Yeah. You watch start and finish, and you've probably got most of it, haven't you?
But it's still an amazing feat.
the other controversial one is cricket. I'd love to play a game of backyard cricket, but I couldn't sit and watch a game of T20.
I'll say I can't watch T20.
Yeah,
No, me
Can't
neither.
watch one days, but I could
I
watch,
could watch a test.
match.
test a little bit seems
all
to be.
day.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the summer holidays or something like that, and you sit back and relax a little bit. But yeah, your T20 stuff and things like that. No, just,
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
agree
with you on that.
Sometimes too
However,
much.
it's probably more, once again, down to the time thing. I don't want to invest the time. I could probably be happy watching, but Test cricket, absolutely. Sam,
Australia.
he's gonna annoy us here.
Yep.
I can see it on his face.
I reckon
Yep.
I can read his mind.
You
Yep.
can say like
I know,
Formula One,
I-
Sam, or something like that. You look like you're about to.
No, Australia's big three: AFL, cricket, and tennis.
Did you say you can't get into AFL?
Yep.
Jeez,
I thought you were a Tasmanian Devils fan.
Nice, Sam.
Yeah, well, you got to support a team because, like, working in healthcare, everyone wants to know your favourite team and, like, how did your team go over the weekend? So it's a nice, casual conversation starter. But watching games, Nah. Same thing with tennis. Same thing with cricket. Like, that's my transparency. Is that I can support the team just so people will be like, "Oh, how did your team go over the weekend?" I'm like, well, at the moment I'm Essendon.
It's just to fit in.
Exactly.
Essendon.
Like, otherwise, you're just some guy that's taking a picture of somebody's guts and it gets awkward very quickly. So you have to talk about what happened over the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So you talk about footy.
This is like the client chat. This is the
This
put them at
hairdresser
ease.
chat.
Put them at ease while you get your job done with them. Okay,
Yep,
I like
exactly.
that.
How did your team go on the weekend, Sam?
I have no idea.
We did well. We had a win.
Excellent.
We
So
had a
until
win.
Tasmania comes in with pretty much a loss every single week, I'm still an Essendon
That
supporter.
fascinates me because I will structure my weekend around when Collingwood is playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Openly.
Yeah, but I get that with
Yeah.
a lot of people. But that's just, if
Really?
I tried to sit down and watch any game of footy,
Really? See,
Like-
Saturday afternoon we're playing and I've got H and it's footy time.
But
So
you
I've got
could
to
have-
think about what he's doing.
you could have the 10 out of 10 AFL match of the weekend, like, Canada from last year or whatever. And I still will probably go, nah.
Really?
Yeah,
It-
no,
it
seriously.
Can dictate my mood. You'll agree with me, Shan.
Absolutely.
Can.
Does.
Does.
Yeah, you're a pain in the bum.
I
watching
know.
footy with.
Remember when you were yelling at me?
Yeah.
We were sitting out the
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're sitting outside a nice wine bar and he's watching on his phone and he's making noise.
and I was just supporting, and then you're yelling at me.
No.
I'm like, sorry.
It wasn't yelling, it was a stern
The
telling
people
off.
around me were like, "Oh, can we come and watch?" Nothing better
No
than
one
when
said
your
that.
team wins.
No one said that.
Nothing better than when your team wins on a Thursday, and then you can relax for the weekend.
Improves your whole
and you feel
weekend.
good. You're like, "Oh, I don't have to worry about my team winning because we've already won."
Yeah, right.
And you just
Okay.
Friday's good, Saturday's good, Sunday's great.
And I'm with you on tennis. The problem with tennis is it's not cricket, but that doesn't improve your situation.
No, it doesn't. No.
See, that's the two summer sports in Australia, and unfortunately for tennis, it's not cricket. It's not anywhere near as exciting as cricket, but it'll be what it'll be. But for me, it is netball, and Americans probably don't know what netball is, but it's netball, and it just frustrates me so much to have to stand back at that imaginary line that's a metre or 3 feet or whatever they say, and it's just the lack of contact. I understand it takes a huge amount of skill, and I imagine it's quite fun to play, but it's not something I enjoy watching one bit. Very little advantage in netball either. They don't sort of play advantage very often, so yeah, that's for me. That's my sport. How's your weekend? It was Mother's Day. How was your weekend without a Grand Prix?
Yeah, it was alright. I filled it with plenty of WEC. That's what I filled it with. The
There we
six
go.
six
The 6
hours
hour
of
at
Spa.
Spa, yeah. Who
so
won?
Ferrari won.
Oh, yeah.
1-2.
Who was driving? Anyone we know?
Antonio Giovinazzi,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
number
really?
50.
Yeah, Machiavelli.
Oh,
There you go.
Is there a little inkling as to what my segment may be?
Oh, yes, that's true. Yes.
Yeah, and I think Machiavelli was in the other one, and then Mick Schumacher came third in the Alpine. So it's good. I love
Correct,
I love WC. I adore it. I love sitting back and watching it.
Kubica was in one. Was
Yeah,
he second?
Kubica's in the
Were they?
50.
Two, but he came 30th after they.
Oh,
went
they
off
were
track
second
and had
on the grid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I was trying to thought I was going to ask you something about
What
that.
was
No, I think I'm lost.
Was it-
the
was
other the other sport that no one can take to, which I'm surprised no one mentioned, Formula E.
Yeah.
That is not something you can get into, surely.
You
I
can
tried.
get free-to-air highlights. and
I
I'm like,
tried, but the
"Ah."
running between cars was just too much for me.
Oh, that was the early days.
early days,
That was
that's
the early
right,
days.
yeah.
It was for me. I watched one maybe last year. I thought, I'll give it another go. And the fact that they had to run over a certain line to get an extra boost,
Yeah, like the little
And then-
Attack mode, yeah.
and then the fans could vote another boost to somebody. I was like, that is me completely done. I'm not watching video games. That is for sure. Rightio, let's get into Fan Frenzy, because that's the purpose here, and then we're going to get into our segments. Fan Frenzy is where we're at, where you, the fans, take control of the conversation. I'm going to leave it for you lot to read these out, because my voice is failing very quickly. Who's got one for me?
I'll go with, where are we looking at? Yeah, I'll go with Nats.
Okay.
All right, so Nat's got a race ranking from Miami of 8 out of 10. There was some decent overtakes and action up and down the grid. 3 to Oscar, near perfect weekend. 2 to Albon, he has really hit some top form. And 1 to Hadjar, showing strong potential. Dud of the day is Lawson. It's like he's not in the same. He's like he is not the same driver as he was last year. The hero, the Lego cars, which we touched on as well throughout the episode last week. And if you go onto YouTube, actually, you can watch a 15-minute race of those if you want to do that.
What, the lap?
Yeah, I guess the lap. I guess they've called it race. Lego race.
Yeah.
Looking to promote it. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah.
Geez, I did some damage to it after we spoke
I
last
know,
week.
yeah.
I saw
I
the
know.
damage. And I saw a little clip of how they made them.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen it last week.
No,
had I?
yeah.
And first thing I did after you guys left, I uploaded the episode and then went and watched it. And yeah, I saw how they made them, and they had to glue every brick.
Yep.
And then I saw the damage they done to it. I was like, you inconsiderate pricks.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Best thing on track since naturally is spreaded V12s. And question, how's Flavio? So this is all about Flavio this week. How's Flavio allowed back in F1 after receiving a lifetime ban? Did Trump pardon him? So I don't know if Nat's asking what is the technicality as to how he's allowed back in the sport. But I think it falls. I don't know the
I think
exact
he
answer.
appealed
to
his
this.
decision eventually down the track.
And it came after the changeover from, Sam, you'll be able to correct me on this. I think it was from the Max Mosley time into the Bernie Ecclestone time, or it'll be from the
Bernie Ecclestone was earlier.
Yeah, it'd be the Bernie to someone else. But it was a change in FIA governance, I think, and there was a loophole there that allowed him to find his way back into the sport. I'll find out the exact answer now.
How do we feel about
it's
Flav
just me
being involved in the sport?
Look,
Let's go to that one.
I'm okay with it. Like, he's a pretty big personality within the sport.
He's a huge
He's
personality.
a huge personality. And I just wonder at the moment if there's a lot of negativity on him because of the Doohan situation, which we'll touch on shortly, I'm sure. And that's sort of bringing up skeletons from the past, per se.
The man walks around with skeletons dragging behind him.
Crashgate was huge. Like,
So
don't
for
underestimate
those
that.
playing it, look, we do have lots of listeners that won't be across this. So a brief rundown of where Flav went wrong with that time with Alonso Shane.
So
You're a historian here.
No, I'm not a historian at all. I'm lucky to remember what yesterday was. He basically instructed Nelson Piquet to crash, so because I think it was Alonso pitted quite early,
Yeah.
and could go to the end on the tyres or something like that. So got into pit, crashed. He got back into it.
It was all designed to enhance Alonso's
Those
chances,
chances of
wasn't
winning
it?
because
Yep.
he wasn't up there at that stage in the Renault, and then it came out a year or two later after he got the sack that he was instructed to do it.
Yep.
So and told where so that he could maximise the amount of time that it
And
took to.
I think it was a pre-race. Like I believe it was a pre-race. If we get in this position,
Yeah.
you're going to need to
Well,
do
I
this.
think it was also contract based too. That
Yeah.
you do it
Yeah,
because Piquet Jr. didn't have a contract for the following year.
Yep.
So there was a lot of threats around that too.
Yeah, which is the sort of thing he was right into. I mean, apart from that, he ran teams, didn't he?
Yep.
He
Benetton.
Suspicion with the Benetton that he ran with Schumacher that he had illegal traction control the year after they banned it.
They were
Yep.
investigated. I can't remember if they were penalised or not in
No,
some way, but it was
it suddenly
certainly
just got swept away.
certainly an investigation.
Don't you eat that crunchy
I'm
thing.
just considering about how to go about eating this because I'm quite hungry.
You're going to have to move away.
Puts a silencer on.
I'm going to. Excuse me.
But he's also like, in terms of, he's ran teams and he's been quite controversial in lots of different ways. But in terms of, he's also managed quite a lot of drivers, hasn't he? I mean, famously, Fernando Alonso's he's probably one of his biggest clients. But Mark Webber, who's probably the complete opposite, really, to Flav, isn't he? He's such a straight driver, but yeah, he's been.
He managed them, that group at Benetton that year.
Yep.
You go back and look at that picture. You've got Alonso, Webber, Button, all in Fisichella, all in that little team Renault at that stage.
Yeah. Yep. So yes, and has sort of kept his finger on the pulse. I've tried to listen to a few podcasts interviewing him, and my God, his accent is so hard
It's
to hear.
incredibly. I think he does an episode of Beyond the Grid or whatever,
Beyond the
and it's
Grid,
incredibly hard
Yep.
to understand.
I've been meaning
what
to
he's
go
saying.
back now that it's translated.
Yeah.
I want to go back and see if it's
So
translated.
difficult to understand,
Yep.
but
incredibly fascinating guy.
and incredibly successful as well. You can't underestimate that. It's that killer instinct that helps you to be successful in
Yep.
the sport.
And
Yep.
dated Naomi Campbell at one stage.
And I think has got a kid with. Is it Naomi Campbell or another model? I can't remember who it is. Yeah, after you told me that, I was reading something and saw something else pop up. Sam, any extra thoughts on how is Flav allowed in the sport, or anything? Any extras you got to add to Flav?
Because the whole thing was that when that decision was overruled, then that's when Felipe Massa also went for the throat of, Well, that incident put me back that cost me that title of that year.
That's right, yeah.
So that's so when that was revoked for Flav, in that same breath, then Felipe Massa is like, well, okay, we can appeal decisions, we can do this. And it was also about the same time that Mercedes were trying to do another pushback on 2021 Yas Marina.
Yep.
So I remember there was just this whole packet of news, and I think a lot of people at the time were just paying attention to the 2021 Yas Marina and the people trying to fight for that. And of course they said no, everything's fine. Then in the background it's like, oh yeah, by the way, Flav's lifetime ban's been turned over so he can show up in the paddock, but who's going to want Flav in the paddock? And then we cut to what, year?
Turns out it's Alpine.
Yeah, so then Flav's back in the Alpine garage last year, I think he first popped up. And then, all of a sudden, here we are.
Are you happy he's in the sport?
Just conflicted. Like, why would you... Like, he has all the credentials and everything from years gone by, but if someone had a major HR disaster at work and then you fired them, but then you're struggling for leadership because everything that happened with Ollie Oakes, everything like that, why are you bringing back your largest HR disaster within the team and possibly within the sport to orchestrate a team which is just all over the shop? I want to love Alpine. Like, I want to love all 10 teams on the grid. But with everything that's just happened within this past, maybe even just this year, I'm like, why have we done this with Flav? If he somehow orchestrates a team and we're now getting to, 5th in the constructors, okay, good choice, guys. But I'm just indifferent at the moment as to why they did this.
You happy to have him back in, Shane?
Oh, it doesn't really worry me either way, but I guess he has really sort of screwed over Jack a little bit there, and I think, not that Jack helped himself with a few crashes and things like that, probably made it easier for him to come in and get rid of him. But the writing was on the wall. He mentioned it before the start of the year, Flavio's decision that he was going to get rid of Jack, and then he got given the power, and that was it.
They're such a... I think Sam spoke about it a bit. They're such a strange team, aren't they? I mean, they're constantly sacking team principals. Who have they had in the last couple of years? They've now got rid of Ollie Oakes.
They had Oakes, they had Safnat, they had...
who was the French gentleman?
I can't think of his name.
Yes.
Escapes me. They also had the Renault days. They had Fred Vasseur was their first when they were going through Renault days as well.
Yeah, so
Cyril Abiteboul.
Cyril followed by that.
Yep. It's a funny one, isn't it? It's... Is he the man to right the ship? That's the big question. I mean, now there's a lot of responsibility on this fella who hasn't been running teams, and I'm sure he's not ready to put in this type of work which all these other guys have been putting in. So all of a sudden, all this work is going to everybody else. It'll be proof in the pudding. Thoughts on Ollie Oakes going?
I think it had something to do with what I read on other sites about his brother or something like that, and illegal something. I don't really.
I think it was
money laundering across the board, like using team trucks.
So now that that's come out, it kind of makes sense.
I don't think it is that. I think that's an excuse for what's been going on.
I don't know. The thing with Flav and that is, Ollie Oakes, if you go back 2 weeks ago, we're not really fussed about Ollie Oakes, are we? Let's go back last year. So they start the season in absolute no man's land, and we are criticising them left, right and centre, and they turn it around in a remarkable fashion last year. And so for me, that's like, all right, we've got ourselves on track. They've started poorly, they've made some mistakes, but they've got the systems in place to fix that in such a significant way that they're now very competitive throughout a season. Come to this season, they look like they might be best of the rest. Turns out not to be true. Testing, we all thought they were up there with Williams to be who's going to be the next best. Yeah. Turns out they're not quite there. They're very temperamental. And then they go about sacking a driver, which they hired after, 7 or 8 races in? 7 races? I think he got 5 rounds. I think he got 7 in total. We knew that there was a rumour of that pre-season that he only had 5, which I guess has kind of turned out to be true, hasn't it?
Yeah, in the
end, really, in the end, it has.
Unless he could perform, yeah.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so that's his record. That's Ollie Oakes' record. I mean, I know he's been there for longer than that, but as a team principal, that's pretty much what he's put on the table. And now he's gone from that team. I'm not sure if it's a big loss. I'm not sure if it's really creating any continuity. I mean, the speculation that hasn't been confirmed, but I think it's fairly well believed across the board is that Flavio Briatore is making far too many decisions that Ollie Oakes had to go and explain, and he couldn't put his heart behind all these decisions that he had to go and explain to everybody because Flavio Briatore is making all these decisions, and he was finding it incredibly difficult to maintain that relationship. So he walked, and I think Jack Doohan was probably the last straw. While I don't know whether he thought that Jack Doohan was absolutely the man for their team, I don't know that he was necessarily heard in this situation. And so he's sick of doing that, and so he's walked now. Alpine have gone out and said all sorts of other things, saying, "Oh, this is definitely not true." I don't know if I believe anything Alpine says at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder how much the Renault sort of partnership or lack thereof has played in that too, because Renault themselves have said a couple of years ago that they're not sure, that they're not wanting to be in the sport anymore.
They also said, we're in a 5-year plan that we're going to be world champions in 5 years.
And I wonder if they're kind of just been padding around with that. The strength of Mercedes partnership in the engine that's coming next year will give them a little bit more stability, and I wonder if they'll be held a little bit more accountable to their decisions around their people, their organisation, their structure, the way they run it as well, because the ties with Mercedes.
Is Flavio Briatore the man to go and right that ship?
Maybe
Who knows?
Maybe he is. You just don't know.
In his unique way, maybe they need that old school
sometimes,
power.
Yeah, you don't get style points for winning in Formula One, do you? You win or you lose.
Yep. Was it incredibly harsh on Doohan?
No, I don't really. No, for me, no.
Shane?
No, not if you keep on crashing, unfortunately, or putting yourself in the spot to be crashed into. So
we talked about it in the episodes in leading to that it just wasn't happening.
No, as much as I want to try to defend Doohan with statistics of he outqualified Gasly, he had greater pace up until the moment he crashed. Like, you finish a race by crossing that line, not by outqualifying your teammate, having a better delta, this, that, everything else. Like, where's my defence? No.
It's very much the Red Bull model, though, isn't it? Let's go see what this guy can do now. What happens? So he's got the next 5 races.
No, I don't think that at all.
That's what they've announced.
I think they're saying 5.
Yeah, no, but
it's he's
got the next 5 races. If he performs poorly, where to from there?
Nah, they'll keep him.
Do they go back to Jack?
No, I can't see Jack coming back to the paddock again ever. Like, for me, that's.
Oh, I think he'd be a test driver for a team.
I think that's Jack Dunn.
Very valuable.
And I feel, regardless of what Colapinto does, that he is the man. And it's just their way.
He's the man.
In their eyes, like he could have 4 crashes and then finish the last race, and they'll go, tick, that's enough.
No, I think they'll go find somebody else.
No, I don't. It's their way of getting him in by saying 5 and being fair to, fans and stakeholders and people invest in the sport, and they want to keep, their fan base too. But just saying we'll give him 5, but deep down, it's the rest of the year. And I'm not going to be shocked to see that at all.
Shane?
Yeah, I think they'll stick with him.
Sam?
Stick with Colapinto, but FIA Formula 1 regulations say a team can have up to 4 drivers within the year. So we have one more roll of the dice if Colapinto isn't the man. After that roll of the dice, you can go back to Jack, you can go back to Colapinto, but you only have one more roll.
Remember the old days where different drivers used to drive at different tracks throughout the year?
Yeah.
And that was more around payments, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Colapinto does come with
huge amounts of money.
Huge backing as well, which for an Alpine team, that's important.
Yep.
He also comes with a huge following.
Argentinian
the following is huge, and I mean, Jack and his family have found that out, unfortunately, the hard way, because they've been copping death threats for the last few weeks, which we didn't know anything about. Yeah, it's an incredibly interesting watch. I'm not convinced that Colapinto is going to hang around the whole time, but he showed good glimpses when he had his chance last year, so we'll wait and see. Nat Pollard, gee whiz, you got a real response out of that one. You don't usually get a fan frenzy response like that, do you?
I know. Now, I just want to jump ahead here and just pre-plan fan frenzy. Because sometimes, and by sometimes I mean all the time, when Sam reads a comment, and you might pick this up, Sam, but we kind of dance around and avoid who reads it. So I think Sam should read his own.
Oh,
Yeah, so
this
too.
is
I think it's a
good.
brilliant idea.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant idea because sometimes, I don't read Fan Frenzy, but sometimes I see how long Sam's.
We do get lost
and I'm
sometimes.
Like,
I enjoyed.
I might just-
Did you see Jason Carter's comment to yours?
Thanks for being short, Sam. That was
Yeah, when you said you were going to not use so many words, did you mean it or something like that? That was very good. I liked
Fair
it.
enough.
All right, Sam, read your comments.
Let's go, Sam.
Alrighty, I'll open it back up. So I gave the race. Go back into.
Hang on, what are we drinking next, actually? Have you finished your rosé, gentlemen?
Yeah.
What's next, Sam? Which way?
The big bottle
This
right
one.
there is Tristan cider. So it is
Tristan cider.
Well,
Looks like cream
hello
soda.
What a
Is
great.
Hopefully it doesn't grenade
Is
right
this
now.
is this one wrong as well? 'Cause
No.
I thought it must have been wrong.
No.
For it to be
So
Tristan's.
apple cider with peach and passion fruit is a half dry.
That sounds like you all over.
That is me all over. Well done
There
to
you go.
you, Sam. Oh, it looks nice too. Cheers.
Did you down your rosé, or do you need to go and toss it on the lawn?
There was little fruity bits in the rosé. Which should be on that. I don't know.
Is it supposed to be fruity?
I don't know. There was bits that tasted like other bits. You just sort of worked your way
There
down.
were bits that tasted like other bits. You should be
Quote
a
from-
wine connoisseur.
Yeah, that's correct.
Can't wait for Tristan the sommelier.
That's good.
Just while Tristan enjoys having a cider on the pod
it's
for
so
once.
good. I just
Look
lo-
how
I
happy
already
you
love
showed.
it.
I
I
can't
already
believe
love it.
the bunny has made Tristan happy. Second
Thank
time this
God.
year. Okay,
Quite nice.
so
Let's see.
gave it a race ranking of
Isn't that
easy
nice?
7 out of 10. Gave the additional points to Piastri win. Thanks for being a 6 a.m. race in Australia. Piastri and Verstappen battle was fun to watch, and otherwise the battles were pretty good up and down the grid. Gave 3 points to Antonelli. Sorry about the sprint race, but again, in front of the Ferraris and well put together to get P6. But as you guys covered, does he have this secret advantage with Miami because he's practiced at so many other tracks and lower formulas? I gave 2 points to the Williams. Originally had Albon on all 3 points, but after going back through and seeing how he hit Sainz, which cost Carlos his points to Ferrari, I have to acknowledge the Williams was a great car, but Alex cost them a better score with the collisions. When you go back through the replay, the very first lap they actually collided, and that's how Sainz sustained damage to his side pod.
Was it on Albon or was it on Sainz?
So Albon hit Sainz' side pod and then went through, and then Sainz went wide. But Williams had a really good weekend, so I pretty much gave a point to each guy. And then I said 1 point to Hadjar, just outside the points, and a good race for someone that was in one of the top 5 cars. Spud, so I'm calling it Sprint Dud, for Lawson for what a Muppet move on Alonso. And then I gave the race dud to Ferrari, the livery, the having a cup of tea and thinking about it sort of mentality. What the heck was that? Hero was the full-size Lego cars. And here's my question. Is Miami a good track for racing but has a bad reputation? So your context is, Silverstone is great for racing and has a good reputation. Mm-hmm. Monaco is a poor track for modern racing with a good reputation because it's historic, qualifying is insane, and challenging for full race. Mm-hmm. And Sochi's just bad for racing and has a bad reputation. So you can be good for racing, good reputation.
Right. Does Miami have a good reputation?
I think we need
Probably
more, I
not
think we
up
need
there.
more years, yeah.
Yeah.
A few more years to just sort of pad it out and get to really see.
We've had 2 good races now. Lando's win last year, by memory, was an eventful win. I don't remember the ins and outs. I know it was a safety car induced win, but I do remember it being exciting. They seemed to have the pace there. But was that to do with the fact that finally Red Bull were being beaten? I don't know. And then this one's a pretty good one. I think the DRS changes helped this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
That made a big difference.
So good for racing.
Is it good for racing? Hasn't been up until last year.
It's a good sprint track. Works well for a sprint track. We're not losing anything by one of the 6 going to it.
I agree with that. I think it's probably an ideal sprint track.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not watching Miami for anything. I'm not going to sit up at, 3 o'clock in the morning watching a free practice session.
It's a fascinating place to watch cars go around because of all there's such technical corners in there and those tight bits, and then it really opens up and just reminds me so much of the old, what's the old Spanish track that we talked about last week?
Catalunya.
Jerez?
Jerez.
In the Docklands.
Valencia.
Valencia. It reminds me so much of Valencia in parts, of some sweeping parts through like that. It doesn't look like it should be a racetrack, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it probably needs longer, but I don't mind it. Don't think it's got a good reputation yet. I'm not sure if it's good for racing yet, but it's coming. It's coming along. It's improved on me. Has it improved for another 15 years? I don't know about that bit.
No, well. Well, Simon Blackburn, he had a race ranking of 7 out of 10. It settled in the latter half, but the first half was quite exciting. Agreed. Hero of the hour, Albon, for making Williams perhaps a better team than Ferrari right now. 3 points to Albon, stepping up consistently, great drive. 2 to Oscar for a near-perfect weekend, and 1 to Antonelli for catching our attention with the sprint pole. Dud, Aston Martin in general, what a depressing season for them. Question, with Miami locked in until 2041, how many US circuits do you think will be part of the calendar by then? I'd like it capped at 3, but I can see there being more added. I'd like it capped at 2.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think 3 is too many. I don't understand why we're running 3 and... Well, I do understand, because that's the market they want to capture, and there's lots of money involved in the US at the moment. But it's certainly not... Yeah, I'm with you. I'd happily at the moment have Texas stay on and rotate between Vegas and Miami.
I think that's a good solution.
Yeah, and I'd be more than happy to add some other tracks to it.
I was about to say, can I finally have one on my wish list?
Which one?
Bring Watkins Glen up to Grade 1.
I don't think it's... Is it even slightly possible? Isn't it?
It's Grade 2. It's Grade 2.
Very small track.
Isn't it really short?
It's a very narrow, very small track. I don't know that you would get an F1 car. I mean, you would, but...
It'd be a bit like trying to run them at Bathurst.
It would be a...
Yeah, but we have Hungaroring, and they need to make improvements. But, it's currently sitting at Grade 2. Could they, update a little bit? And that means you've got a race in Texas and right near New York. So
I'm with you on bringing something over that side. Well, up near New York, I guess, yeah.
Otherwise, the only other Grade 1 track is Indianapolis in the GP configuration.
I'm okay.
And the last race we had there was 6 cars starting on the grid.
Yeah, but that wasn't because of the track.
That was very long
They
time
have one.
ago,
Did they have one after that? I think they had a couple.
Or
I thought they had a couple after
2007
that,
might have been the last one, but
yeah.
I think Indy's gone down in infamy because of that, which is unfortunate. But it's the only other Grade 1 they have.
I'd happily have that as part of a 3-way rotation.
Absolutely.
I'd love to
Laguna
see.
Seca.
I'd love to see something in New York. Laguna Seca.
Would you get through the corkscrew?
No.
I don't know you get to.
Yes.
IMSA was just there on the weekend, and that was fascinating.
What was?
To see. IMSA, which is the international, the American sort of style.
WEC. They use WEC cars, but in America.
Yep.
So it's good. Watch that. It's good. So
Where's Laguna Seca? I'm going to say. I'm going to say is it West Coast? Or
West Coast, Arizona sort of area. I'm pretty sure off the top of my head. Yeah.
Okay.
Laguna Beach.
Yeah, well, I've always assumed it was
not far off.
somewhere near a beach, but yeah. Someone will fill us in. Yeah, I'd love to see something in New York. I think it'd be spectacular in New York. But the problem with placing a race in a city is you get a Las Vegas style event.
Yes.
And while it's amazing to watch once or twice, gets old pretty quick, doesn't it? And so, yeah, I mean, unless you can find a really good spot for it, but yeah, I think they should be rotating through. I think 3's too many. If we are running 3, let's get a rotation happening. Tristan, anything different to add to that?
No.
Okay. Anyone else? No? Nope. Nice. Is that all our questions? Is that we're done? Fan Frenzy? I'm excited about this. So now we're going into Tristan in all of his genius.
You can replay. You can say that lots.
In all of his genius, he came up with the idea on the fly that the gent should come up with a segment to bring to the pod this week, and I'm just excited for something different, I must say. Who's going first?
I was about to say, have you got yours written down on paper?
have,
That's actually mine.
Oh, that's preparation.
Should we just sort of get them to announce what the segments are?
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we need some. Sort of. I should have done sort of music. Shouldn't I?
Just be a prompt for you to cut some sort. Maybe the boys can bring their own intro music.
Oh, you're just going to place everything on them now, aren't you? Yeah.
Heavy lifting, mate.
Ah, rightio.
This operation didn't set itself up.
Rightio, Sam. I set it up. Sam.
I've got checking on friends.
Checking on friends.
Checking
He's
on
got a name for it. Have you got a name for yours, Shane?
Oh, well, mine was just going to be, if they're not Formula One drivers, what are they?
Oh, I like this. I like this. This is going to be fun. All right, let's start with checking on friends.
Checking on friends, because sometimes you leave high school and you wonder, what's happened to your friends after, they were great during high school football and everything like that, and you're just like, wonder what they're up to.
Where are they now?
Where are they now? So, obviously, as Tristan alluded to earlier on, we had the World Endurance Championship show up to Spa-Francorchamps and do the 6 hours of Spa. And it was a great race. A lot of things happening up and down the grid. And we have a lot of friends that participated in the 6 hours of Spa.
By friends, are you alluding to ex-Formula One people?
Ex-Formula One people.
Okay.
And we do have a list. So, obviously, Antonio Giovinazzi in his Ferrari came first, so great accomplishment for him.
Is he still a reserve driver anywhere at the moment?
No, I think he's just committed fully to WEC. That's why Joe's swooped in to be the new Ferrari reserve driver.
Yeah,
So
right, okay.
He's just kicking goals, like pretty much ever since Ferrari came into WEC with their hypercar. They've just been kicking goals and very rarely drop, aside from the Porsche Penske team and back when the Toyota Gazoo wasn't nerfed so bad by balance of performance. Our friend Mick Schumacher in the Alpine actually came third. Some really good overtakes and battles with Kevin Magnussen in the BMW Wurt.
Yep.
Brendan Hartley from Toro Rosso, if anyone remembers New Zealand's first Formula One driver before Lawson came along.
Remember he just came up and appeared out of absolutely nowhere?
With his sandy surfer hair and everything.
But he wasn't even on their list at once. Like, they brought him from not even within their list, didn't they? They? Like he must have ticked a few boxes that they didn't have, and they brought him in from even outside of their list at that point. Anyway,
so
what's he doing?
And oddly enough, another friend, Rio.
What's Brendan Hartley doing?
Brendan Hartley is also in WEC, so he was with Rio Hikawa, who's the Haas reserve driver, but he was also the McLaren reserve driver and also the Alpine reserve driver. So he was the super sub for this year and last year. So they came fourth with Toyota Gazoo Racing. Jensen Button, as we know from Braun, he came fifth with Cadillac Hertz. Kamui Kobayashi from Sauber and Caterham fame, and Nick DeFries from AlphaTauri fame was seventh with Toyota.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Pascal Wehrlein, who was last seen sideways and up on two wheels at Monaco after he got punted.
Before the tunnel?
Before the tunnel,
yeah.
That's Pascal Wehrlein in that blue...
look at Tristan in reaching for more cider.
Yeah, because there's beer ready to
this
go
man
there.
is... I've never seen him so happy.
I know.
So, Pascal Wehrlein...
Do you want some?
No, it's very nice, though.
If you're loving it, mate, just go for it.
I am loving it. I am going for it.
What might its alcohol content be for his information?
For that one, I calculate about 4.8.
Yeah, okay.
So... That doesn't mean anything.
You're spending the night.
I'm over 21.
Oh, another snore on the couch for Rog. Kevin Magnussen, we know our mate Kevin. So he joined BMW last year, got 10th. Paul di Resta from Force India, he came 11th with the Peugeot. And unfortunately, Robert Kubica, who was the Williams and BMW fame, he came 30th with the yellow Ferrari. Tristan wanting a yellow Ferrari last episode.
Yeah.
That's where you want that yellow Ferrari.
I know.
So did you say that he started second on the grid?
He was second on the grid.
And what happened?
Just sort of fell off and through safety cars and just unfortunate incidents. Because you've also got the LMGT3, so the leader there, which was the Acrodus Lexus. They crashed out, and they were like the front runner. They were having a great time, and they crashed out, which was unfortunate. Aston Martin did pretty well in GT3, really poorly at the moment with hypercar. So Lance Stroll might need to join there and improve them a bit. Just saying. So,
yep. Okay. All right.
So that's what our friends are up to. We've got friends in IndyCar. We've got friends in Formula E. Not that anybody pays attention.
Who's driving in Formula E at the moment that we know?
Probably no one. No, I haven't checked Formula E.
I can't remember off the top of the head, but won the last series.
There's a bunch of old Red Bull... I mean, there's lots of old Red Bull drivers.
John Eric Byrne was there for a long time. I think he's still there.
Yeah.
Pascal
Stoffel,
Wehrlein.
Vendorm?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he was there for a bit.
All right, you're going to have to fill us in on... I don't mind it. I like hearing about some of our old people. I want a Formula E rundown of our friends in Formula E next time.
That means I'm going to have to watch Formula
No, you can... Surely there's the internet. You don't have to actually
Google
watch it.
who's in
Yeah.
Formula E.
Yeah, that's good. I
Surely
like it.
they'd have a mini that might take 5 minutes.
I like it. I like the... what was it called?
checking in on friends.
Checking in on friends. Excellent. Righto, Shane. Is this one's a little bit more interactive, is it? Or is this...
No.
Oh, this is just your comedy routine?
This is just it's not a comedy routine, Roger. It's just what they could be doing.
I've had many
I've had a few little snippets and I quite like them.
Okay.
So what do you want? Do you want it in order, championships order?
Explain your segment.
Okay, so I just come up with the driver and looked at what they might be doing if they weren't.
If they
driving
weren't a Formula 1 driver...
And unfortunately, I had to scrub Jack Doohan off because he's not a Formula 1 driver anymore. So.
Oh, that's a shame.
Anyway, so do you want it in championships order, or do you want to go from top to bottom or bottom to top?
You know how I feel, as long as it's in
Do
some
it in
sort
the
of
most
order.
annoying way possible.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll start at the top.
Yep.
Oscar.
Oscar.
He'd be an assassin. An absolute assassin because he's just cool, calm. He wouldn't read it. He'd get away with it all the time.
I can see that. Yeah,
Oscar
I
the
can see that.
assassin.
He's got that quiet sort of smile.
Yep. Lando, politician, because he's always whinging about the opposition. So he'd have to be a politician.
He's running gags. This is good, isn't it?
It's good.
Franz Herman, Max, he'd just be a gamer, YouTuber, because he loves that anyway. And I
He
can just
does.
imagine Yoss knocking on his door, just sort of saying, "Get to bed, Max," and he'd be telling him where to go. And what have you ever done in your life, Yoss? And so he'd be a YouTuber, I reckon, or a gamer.
Yep.
You know, getting out there. Had to love that Franz Herman. You know,
It was very good.
wasn't it very?
But then
cool?
wore his race suit and helmet, which
And
sort of
totally gave it away.
full tank of fuel in a pretty much prepped for like a race run, but he does the fastest time
with
for a
traffic.
GT3.
He
What
just
the
does
heck?
it. Just
It's very similar. So over here, Josh Giddey played a local
Reserves
game of
A2 or
basketball. And just blew the internet up with that as well. So
But
very
he
similar.
blended in. Josh Giddey didn't go silly. He just blended in. He only had
Yeah.
20 points, but someone on the opposition, I think, had 50 points.
Oh, really?
So, he just blended
right.
in and had a bit of a laugh. So,
Yep.
George, in at fourth space at the moment, George would be an MI6 agent. Debonair with a hint of aggression at times. So he'd be like a James Bond, I reckon, George.
I
He'd
like
be that
this.
classy,
Good, yeah.
English.
good.
I always thought when he was younger he looked like those cartoons, like those Captain America
American
cartoons.
cartoons,
yeah.
Thunderbirds, that's the one I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
that's
Yeah.
true,
Yeah.
He'd be
That's
Charles, male model. Charles, male model. Apparently all the women are in love with Charles.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Really good pianist as well.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, plays piano. Okay.
Yeah. No.
I
I'm not
also
being
had to
sensitive.
check myself there, and I'm thinking, what?
Hey, yeah, well,
Uncultured
anyway,
gentlemen.
What, Sam?
Kimmy, well, he'd be a grade 6 student. If he wasn't in Formula 1, he'd probably be in grade 6.
Yeah.
Probably currently
He'd be trying to get into Tristan's team, but,
Giggling at the back of the class.
yeah. I could imagine Kimmy that. Lewis. Oh, now, I thought about Lewis being a fashion designer because he's into all that stuff, but in the end I thought he'd be LeBron James because he thinks he's a GOAT. His fans think he's a GOAT, but he's not the GOAT. Bit of a controversial one there. Alex Albon I struggled with a little bit, and I just end up with a jet fighter pilot. I reckon he just looked like he's a maverick in that suit.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Ocon would be a lawyer. He seems to be, everyone says he's a lovely bloke outside the track, but he gets on the track and you just get white line fever. So I'm putting him down as a lawyer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he doesn't seem to have that boundary line when he's in business. I'm liking that.
Yeah, so
This is good.
Lance, well, I had Lance down originally as a driving instructor, just with seeing those movies that he just has no expression in that. But then I thought about it more, and I thought Lance would be a
Can't
weightlifter.
drive.
Well,
No, that's true. Driving instructor.
Well, actually,
Just, yeah.
I'm putting him down as a weightlifter because basically he's been carrying he's been carrying Aston Martin all season, so
Jesus.
100% points to
God.
Lance. So he is a
That's
weightlifter.
aggressive.
This is good. I like this. It's pissed Tristan off
Ten-
now. It's an extra tick.
9:10. Tone it down.
Yuki, he'd be a Japanese game show host.
Oh, yes.
I could just see him that little bit of craziness running around the
Absolutely bouncing around a stage.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Pierre Gasly, a soccer star, because the commentators would love to say Gasly.
Gasly.
So, him down as a soccer star.
Good.
Carlos. Now, Carlos would be Robin out of Batman and Robin. He's just the sidekick.
No.
Poor Carlos.
He'll never be the main man.
He
He
goes
thought he was
into-
going to be, didn't he?
He did. He went into, Toro Rosso and he had Max, and then he has Lando,
Well,
and then he goes to Ferrari, and he's got Charles, and now he's got Alex showing him up. So he's just going to be...
I wonder if he'll turn evil like some of the sidekicks do because he can't
Maybe.
become the main man. Oh, this is good.
Maybe. Nico Hulkenberg, he's going to be a traffic controller holding a stop sign because he's always around, doesn't do much, and he's well paid.
Oh, this is good.
Ollie Behrman, well, 2 for Ollie. He could be a junior at an investment firm, or he could actually dress up as a giraffe at King's birthday parties with that long neck.
This is good.
Oh boy.
We're going to have to segment this.
Well, there's no more drivers to really go through. So Hadjar, a boxer, and he was actually a boxer at a young age, did a little bit of boxing.
Really?
Yeah, or he could be a quantum mechanics researcher like his dad.
Oh, well, that's true. Yes.
Yeah, so now down to the non-scorers.
Oh, the non-scorers.
Yeah. Fernando would be a big 4 caravan park manager. I can just see him in that deck chair there, sitting up, watching someone come up. Oh, damn, I've got to get out of my deck chair. And then he just sit there and bag them out as they reverse the caravan in.
This is good.
Liam, demolition derby driver. You could just see Liam at the Rushworth Speedway just crashing into cars because he does that so well. Bortoleto is quite a hard one, actually, to come up with, but his family actually own a stock car Pro Series in Brazil, so he would manage that.
Okay.
He'd be managing that. And lucky last is Franco. Franco, he's just back in. He'd be a CRT, or a relief teacher, as they call him in America. Everyone loves him at first, and then in the end they just all hate him for their shit.
Oh, this
So
is good.
Franco would be that CRT.
Oh, well done.
I'm sure I had a few of those at school before.
Out of interest, what was Jack going to be?
No, I
Or
actually
sack-
just forgot Jack.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
fair
yeah.
enough. Yeah.
He
Well,
was
that happened quick, didn't it,
That
for
did.
everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, well done, gentlemen. I'm very impressed by that. We've got the comedy. And we've got
liked
the
it.
facts.
I liked
We've
it.
got the facts.
It's
There's
a real-
information there, and then we've
It's a
run
real
with comedy.
balance. It's good. I like it.
Oh, boy. I tell you what's the last thing you brought to this program?
Just my
F-
constant
F1.5.
brilliant insights week in and week out, and tolerating you. That's a
Yeah,
segment in
well,
itself.
and that
isn't
should
it?
be everything.
It should be enough.
I'm very impressed. Thank you, gentlemen. Any news that you want to discuss?
Well, we do have F1.5 ready to go because
Was it not ready last time?
did we do Miami last time?
Yes,
no,
I
we
think
did.
we
Sorry,
did.
we did.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought we did.
I've
Yep,
got the
my
People's
bad.
Championship.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't usually update the People's Championship.
Oh, sorry.
Just
Go. Yeah,
Through
go
the,
for it.
through the season, we don't usually do this, but that's only because no one could be asked.
That's right. And
So,
you
first year on the
outsourced your
program.
work. All right, we'll go for that. Sorry, I thought we had missed F1.5 last week.
Nah, I think we run it.
All
I
right,
think we
beautiful.
run it.
Go for it. Well, then let's dive into People's
let's have.
Championship.
I like to do this.
Yep.
Let's have a prediction. Who do we think is on top of the People's Championship? So this is our 3, 2, and 1. Thanks to all signs. 3, 2, and 1, which we give each week. It used to just be Tristan and I.
Yep.
And then any guest that would have on the program could also put their votes in. And then someone came up with the grand idea of letting everybody who's on Fan Frenzy have their scores taken into account as well. And I said, yeah, sure, why not? Then realised I'd actually have to do something around that. And then luckily Sam stepped in and said, hey, I like numbers, and I know you won't do it, Roger, so I'm going to do it for you. And from there, the People's Championship grew legs. It grew legs. It always existed. But it just grew legs, and then we've taken off. Shane, who do you think would be on top of the People's Championship this year?
Oscar.
Yeah,
Oscar,
I might-
I think we're also a bit biased because he's Aussie.
Yes,
think we have
I'm
been
going to go with
biased,
Oscar. I want somebody other than Oscar now.
I'm going to go with Max or George.
Okay.
I reckon they've been quite popular choices with both of those. Antonelli will be kicking around thereabouts. But I think George has got a lot of love.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go.
Who's your outside of?
Yeah, I was going to say Max would have been that one, or
Yeah, I'll say Oscar, and then I might go. I'll go left of field, whether it's a Hadjar or an Albin. I reckon.
Alex will have a few points trickled.
Yeah,
in and-
I think
and
Hadjar's
out of there.
impressed people. I think he's impressed enough people.
Yeah, I think so too, but I can't.
My
can't
computer's
enough
decided to
points.
restart itself. Lucky I don't do anything with it today. Rightio, Sam. Oh, well, you know the answers. I can't ask you for predictions, can I?
I was about to say, so like giving the update on the People's Championship. If you want to influence the People's Championship rather than voting for Driver of the Day that everybody seems to hate on Formula One TV, drop into this podcast every week whenever Tristan releases Fan Frenzy. Get your votes in because you can actually influence the People's Championship. Plus, you get the bonus of putting Done of the Day, putting in a question to the guys. So, influence the People's Championship, people. Let's go.
I like it.
111 points.
111 already?
Yep.
Wait, what
That means
position?
lots
What
of people-
position is
This is top. Where
I was starting at the
start.
top.
There's no gradual build-up. We're just going...
Oh, like we've got plenty of people on
Okay,
0
alright.
points. Our 0 pointers are Alonso
Tristan,
and Lawson.
I told you I'm coming around to it.
how's Tristan
I told you I'm coming
giving
around to
him
it.
suggestions on the build-up when
I'm
the
just
man
saying.
runs random
I
orders?
know, but I'm just saying you can't go, here's
I
the
don't
winner.
I didn't want to go for the
I
execution.
can't believe it was
But
you
who-
that stepped in there.
And thank goodness I did, because this segment would already be over.
All right.
Because we know who's won.
And everyone
Alright.
lose
And
interest.
everyone lose interest.
Oh,
like,
is there 111 points?
Oh, who's seventh?
111 points. So just to put into perspective, okay, there's our top bar. We'll get there. So 0 points. We've got Alonso and Lawson. 1 point. We've got Bortoletto and Stroll.
On 1 point.
The answer's only on one.
Can't believe he got one.
That was the Chinese Grand Prix round. Then with 4 points, we have Doohan, thanks to Adam Hughes. Adam Hughes pretty much holding up Jack Doohan, making sure he didn't get 0 points.
Not anymore.
And we also have Sonoda with 4 points. And that's also a few points from Tristan as well. So the People's Championship also has you guys on board.
good.
3 points.
Who did he give points to?
Yuki.
Tristan gave Yuki a few points, so every so
Sounds
often.
like something you do.
Fair.
Yep.
Fair.
Hamilton got 3 points during the Chinese Grand Prix round thanks to his sprint race win, so sorry, forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
8 points to Gasly. He picked up all 8 points in Bahrain for getting points there. Otherwise, we cruise on up to Ocon with 15. We've got Leclerc with 17.
It's a real spread. There is a real
Yeah.
spread of drivers this
Yeah.
year.
We're going to pick up speed now. We're going 19.5 for Albon.
0.5. Who gave half?
I
This
think there was a 1 point split
This
in the
has
Saudi.
got to stop, this ridiculous point-giving situation.
give
Usually
half.
just throw them out as donkey votes.
But then Sainz also got 12.5 there. 17 points to Leclerc. 20.5 to Hajar. 26.5 to Behrman. So Behrman got a lot of love for his Bahrain outing and climbing all the way from 20th up
There
to
you go.
10th.
Okay.
Fair.
Now we're going for the high life of Russell with 30 points. So there's your Russell there.
He's gone.
What position is he in?
That would be
He doesn't know
sixth spot.
Sixth.
Really?
And then we've got... So Russell was there. Then we go for Norris with 41.
Yep.
Verstappen with 42.
Which makes him fourth.
Third, sorry. And then we have Antonelli with 54.
Oh, that was your tip, wasn't it?
No.
No.
Oh,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Anthony.
Yeah.
And then say hello to 111 points. So well over double Antonelli is Piastri.
Fair enough.
And he has scored points in nearly every single round. So, international listeners, if you don't want Piastri to run away with it, get in the comments.
He hasn't suffered the I'm in the best car, I won't get points
Yeah.
syndrome
I've
that
stopped
sometimes happens.
I've stopped that.
There's an element, though, it's the first year of being in the fresh car. I
I'm
reckon if you
enjoying
had...
being quite biased, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right, so he's a clear leader at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this season. If McLaren can continue on, if he continues on collecting points, or if people will get a bit sick of it and start voting some other people in. But like Sam says, you can get your votes in, and they will be scored. That is a guarantee because Sam's on board.
Didn't mind the little promotional plug there,
What was that?
just for, you know,
To try to influence it,
like
you know.
influencing people, like get on the pod.
Yeah. These guys are good.
We even got an all signs in there as well. So
Yes, exactly. Thank you to All Signs. Any other news, Tristan?
Yeah, the news. Well, we touched on Jack being dumped,
Yes.
which is sort of
And since we've been last
still
on,
the news.
yeah, Jack
Yeah.
being dumped, Ollie Oakes was dumped. I don't think anyone saw the Ollie Oakes one, but I think plenty saw the Doohan potentially coming.
Yeah.
I don't think there is anything else. Is there?
Outside of that, it's a very quiet week. I mean, we're off to Imola on
And
Triple
the
Imola.
last,
This
the
week.
last Imola.
this week, yeah, which I don't know how I
Yeah.
feel about that. I don't think I'm okay with that, to be
You
quite
don't
honest.
think you're okay with
No, I
it?
don't think I am. I don't think
Doesn't
I'm okay
produce
with that.
great racing anymore.
No,
It's
but
cool
I look-
joint.
But I look forward to it.
Cool
I
joint.
look forward to it and the history that it brings as well.
Yep. Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd put on a rotation at best. But
But you wouldn't,
I'd
you
like to
wouldn't
see
give
it
up
every-
Monza for it. You wouldn't do it,
Nope.
rotate it between Monza.
Nope.
You'd do
Nope.
it like the European.
Yep. I used to love the European Grand Prix. It seems to have died, hasn't it? The European Grand Prix with
Yep.
all the other races coming in. Yeah, but
So, yeah.
I don't. I'd see it every couple of years. Every
Monza,
5
Monaco,
years,
and
maybe.
Spain. There's our triple header coming through.
Yep.
Monaco and Spain. Yeah.
Yep. Prediction then for Imola?
Oh,
Did we actually, before we do,
Yep.
did we ever talk about the fact that Monaco is going to a compulsory two-stop?
yes, we did. We talked
You
about
have to
that
use
the
all
week.
3 tyres.
Yeah, we talked about that the week of the announcement. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if we went into
I
a
reckon
huge
we
amount of
did.
detail. How do you feel about it?
I'm,
Remind me.
I'm very okay with that.
Yeah.
Very okay with
I
that.
think Monaco, you can try some things, can't you?
You could do an offset and go, say, a hard versus a medium.
Are there a
Yeah.
few other places I'd like to see this happen?
Not one that springs to mind. I think Miami
Singapore.
would. be
Yes, I was
good,
the same.
yes.
I was exactly the same. I thought, you know what, Singapore is a fascinating race, but it needs something else. I think we could add this element. there.
Possibly Azerbaijan would be a good place for it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we get a bit of racing there.
Yeah,
It's probably the places you don't generally get racing. I mean,
that's true.
even a Barcelona.
You should
you'd
do it in
almost-
Vegas. Yeah, you could do it in
Suzuka?
Spain, couldn't you, Suzuka? Man.
Suzuka's hard to overtake.
Yeah,
So
And,
offset
and
it.
you'd see that offset of tyres really come into play at Suzuka.
you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends on the
Don't need
conditions,
to set everywhere.
doesn't- No.
It's not one of those ones. It's
Yes.
like a sprint race.
Yas Marina just
Some
to
places
have
are good.
something interesting for the final.
Yeah, maybe.
Bit of fantasy watch because Jack's been dumped, and we'll see what fantasy do with Jack if you are a Jack holder.
Do
which
you
I think
have
we
to
all-
move?
Wow, this was a contention with Yuki but then that was a seat swap. It was a driver exchange. So
Yeah.
this is a dump and run sort of situation. So I'm just sort of put on the table a bit of an early dud
Keep an eye on it.
that if I suddenly have to lose Jack and I have to pay more for Colin Pinto and it hasn't raced, I'm putting it out there.
Surely they just
This
do
is
it.
In the past, they've done some really strange things
I'm
around this.
pre-dudding if
Yeah.
it comes to fruition. So just keep an eye on
Well,
that.
I'd be keeping an eye on it. I think you might have to actually make the change
I
yourself.
certainly hope not.
I thought they.
because
I thought
that's
you
not
didn't
gonna
have to
go
do
down
that
well.
last year when they dropped Sargent and then put Colapinto in the
No,
first place.
but
I
then
thought
we
it was
swapped
an auto.
Yuki out, and then you had to drop him, and then he was worth less, and then he was worth more, and then it was all. That's not how fantasy works. Anyway, putting it out there, pre-dud for fantasy, if they do something silly like that.
Okay.
We haven't had predictions, though. We've
Predictions,
skirted
I-
around predictions.
Yeah,
in the-
Max for me.
A Max win.
Track position is very important in Imola, and he is doing exceptional things in quali and really understands the importance of track position in specific circuits. So yeah, I expect a Max pole and a Max win and an
okay.
Oscar second.
Okay. Shane?
I actually think Lando's going to get back up. I think Lando.
Well, here's my prediction last week. I think I've gone a little slightly early on it. Yeah, okay. Lando, pole and
I think
win.
he'll put the pole there, and that will just set up that win.
He was looking likely for that, wasn't he, at one point, and then it sort of just slipped away on him again. Sam?
If I'm being Mr. Boring, just going with Piastri. However, there is that lunatic voice in the back of my head that's saying, what about Russell? Russell always does these weird things at Imola, like when he crashed into Valtteri on turn 3. The year before that, during the sprint race in the Williams, he binned it off in the wet. Just Russell does weird things in Imola, so what if his weird thing in Imola this year was that he just
To win.
somehow won it?
Well, it's going to be a sunny 20 and 23 degrees for quali and race, so it'll rain on Monday, but it's not going to rain this weekend.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, I could go with all those. They're all quite good answers. Can Ferrari turn it up in Italy?
No,
Well, they will usually save that for Monaco, for Monza, though, won't they? It's not like it's a...
Yeah, it's their
Have
home
you-
track, but
the-
it's not their home track.
Yeah, they've been nowhere, and they have actually performed at this one, though. And so, yeah, I don't know. Just a little bit of me, I think it's too soon for them to be any good, but you watch Monza, they'll be ready to go. Yeah, I'll go with Oscar. He's just a form man at the moment, and he tends to really like these fast speed corners. So I think there's enough of those to make that work. Medium speed corners.
They're more medium.
Yeah, so that's gonna hurt the Red Bulls as far as I can tell at the moment with the form book. But wait and see. We'll wait and see. But I'll go with Oscar. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good little tussle. So yeah, thank you, gentlemen.
Not a problem.
Fan Frenzy has really lifted off this week, hasn't it? I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it a lot. How do you like our new format, Tristan?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Is this going to be a common thing?
Like sort of a fan frenzy sort of party type thing.
It has been a bit of a party, but
yeah, it has, doesn't it?
Between races, do you like
Yeah, I
between
don't mind
races?
it. I would be interested on fans' thoughts. They're happy to listen to us just
Give us a bit of feedback.
talk dribble.
It's been a little bit dribbly.
45
I thought
minutes.
the segments were a highlight.
They were.
But unfortunately, there wasn't
There
much
weren't a lot of
fan
highlights.
interaction
No,
there. With
no.
no,
That's
but
okay.
we've probably caught them off guard a
Yes.
little
We
bit.
probably did. They were like, oh, what extra episodes?
Yeah.
I love this show.
Yeah.
I can't believe I've missed it.
Yep. Maybe we need to make it less race focused and maybe just more general questions.
More general sort of
General questions for
hanging
this
out
one.
with friends type thing.
Yep. Oh, well, like Tristan said, give us your feedback. And we'll be talking to you after Imola in just a week's time. Goodbye now.